Good morning, everybody. So, first, let me apologize for disappearing. Um, Not sure where this video is going to go, other than I think the guilt that I have right now supersedes the fear that's coming out. Um, so I just feel like, and I know I'm stumbling over my words, I feel like it's just time to come out and have a discussion about some things that I have learned over the last few months. So, first of all, I think part of the fear that I had was I'm just going to get this out in the open is I gained quite a bit of weight back after I lost a bunch of weight. And so my ego has been chattering at me, and I know that's been part of the fear. Um, the other fear that has been holding me back is fear of ridicule, considering some of the stuff that I want to talk about. But I think the fact is, I know that I have information that can help people, and knowing that I have not been doing anything with that is starting to eat at me. So now that I have that out of the way, let me think. Where do I want to start? So I have learned a lot of stuff over the last few months, and partly I had learned so much stuff that I didn't know where to start, and I was gathering information, and I just kept going and going and going, and I didn't really know what to do with that. But a lot of it was me processing all of this new information that had come to light. So first off, I don't want to forget this. One of my favorite people that I found on YouTube to watch is a guy named Charlie Ward. He's a 60-year-old British guy, bald-headed British guy, that I guess from what it sounds like, he moves money for very, very wealthy people. And he has been in many private planes. He's been in underground bunkers where lots of money has been. He said, I've been in places that were great and been in places where I wanted to figure out where the next exit was at. One of the things that he has said, and he has many interviews on his channel. So right now he's the first person that I watch when it comes on, because I feel like of all of the things that I could watch, I'm getting the truth from him and the people that he interviews. That resonates with me. So he said about 6 years ago, he heard from some of his contacts that there was going to be a global reset. And he's like, yeah, whatever, and he just kind of blew it off. And then he said 2 years ago, he heard there was going to be a global reset and they were going to shut the world's economy down. And he was like, yeah, whatever, and kind of blew that off. And then he said in December of 2019, he heard it again. And they said, we're going to he said, they go, Charlie, we're almost ready. We're going to shut the world's economy down and do a global reset. And then he said in January, they shut it down just like that. In a matter of seconds, the world globally shut down, the economy shut down, everybody went into lockdown. And he said, that's when I started going back and thinking about a lot of the stuff that I had heard. And he always says, truth is what has happened, and you can look back, and if it's happened, that is truth. So he speaks from experience, and I appreciate that about him. So again, if you want to know, and if you are searching for good information, go find Charlie Ward. I think it's called The Charlie Ward Show. Bald-headed 60-year-old British guy, and he just sits there in his chair and he does interviews. So you can, some of them I like, some of them don't resonate with me, but I have learned a lot of really, really good information from him, in my opinion, what I feel is true. he seems to know some very well connected people, and you know, so anyway, go look at Charlie Ward. I think you will find his information very valuable if you are searching. If you are not searching, then anything that I have to say is not going to resonate, and probably half of you are going to, you know, fling arrows at me anyway, which I don't really give a shit about. Now that I finally got the nerve to get up and talk. So the other thing that I think that I will throw out there is I finally posted a thing on Facebook, because I disappeared off of Facebook mostly for several months too, because the negativity was just like driving me crazy, and people pointing fingers and calling people names, and, you know, on both sides, you know, my righties and my lefties, and acting like complete idiots. And I couldn't seem to protect my energy from that, so I just finally just left it. But I had been getting some messages from people that they missed my positive comments, because I used to post pictures about crystals, and I tried to keep my information light. So I'll tell you a story that I posted over the weekend that there may be a collaboration with me and him. I don't know whether there will be or not. It'll depend. He's got a lot of stuff going on. But it starts with 4th of July weekend. I did an overnight dog sitting duty for a friend of mine. They went to a 4th of July party. And when I got home on Sunday morning, there was a note stuck on the outside of my door that maintenance had been in here. And I walk in this door, and the smoke detector has been pulled out of the ceiling. The table that I always use when I would do my videos has my computer sitting on it. I can see where some water has splashed on it. Thank God my computer was not directly under the water drip, because it would have been ruined. There was a bucket on the floor and a big water stain in the ceiling. Well, so this is Sunday, July 5th, and I'm like, I'm not going to call the office, because one, they're probably closed, and I'll find out what happened later. And so the bucket sat here for a while, and one day I was on my way home from lunch, and I ran into Quentin, and what I found out was the dishwasher above me had leaked. It had leaked water into my smoke detector. The smoke detector went off. One of the neighbors in my building heard the smoke detector going off, was knocking at my door. I wasn't answering. I wasn't home. And he ends up calling maintenance to let him know that my smoke detector's going off. And when Quentin got over here, he found out what had happened and went upstairs and stopped the leak and everything. And so I ran into him one day when I was coming home for lunch, and I said, do you want your bucket back? Because it was sitting in the floor and had been for a week. And I knew part of it was because they needed to let the ceiling dry and the carpet dry, and you know, they're not going to do anything until they can survey the situation and do something about it. So he came over and to grab his bucket and took some pictures, and we proceeded to stand in my hallway kitchen area and talk for almost my whole lunch hour about this, that, and the other, and spirituality. And he goes, yeah, I know you're spiritual. And he pointed at that thing behind me on the wall. And so I found an equal spiritual being in my presence that I was able to talk to and understand things. And he was like, when's your birthday? And I told him, and he told me he was into numerology and astrology. And so, of course, you know, that gave us something to talk about. And he pulls out his phone and he types in my phone number, and he tells me that I'm a master number 22, which I didn't really, I know what that means now. I did not at the time. I had heard I had a special birthday, but, you know, I didn't really understand why. And so knowing, I think that's also part of the reason that I feel like it's finally time I open my mouth, is knowing that I'm a master number 22 and not doing anything with that finally started really eating at me. It's a little bit like given as superpower and doing nothing with it. It's a little like being given a superpower to save the world and doing nothing with it. in so many words. So anyway, he and I have become pretty good friends over the last, God, I guess it's almost 2 months, going on 2 months now. And so he and I both, I think, kind of feel the push of getting out and talking about some stuff and maybe trying to help a few people. So again, I don't know where this all is going to go, but this is going to be the first video, and if I get my shit together, hopefully I'll start doing these little videos before I go into work in the morning, because frankly, by the time I get home from work at the end of the day, my brain is fried. It's very busy there, and there's a lot going on, and I get up between 4 and 4:30 most mornings and do my meditation, and then just to give me an idea what a normal schedule of mine is I go to bed very, very early at night to make sure I get plenty of sleep, because I do need so much energy during the day, mental energy, physical energy, that the worst thing in the world is to be deprived of sleep when you need it. So I go to bed early, I get up early, meditate, and watch YouTube for an hour or two or whatever, and that's part of we'll say my studies. I don't watch regular TV at all anymore, because I have learned that is not where you get good information from. You have to go sifting through to see where the good information is at. And when I say I have watched thousands of hours of stuff, gathering information and connecting the dots over the last 2 or 3 years, I cannot tell you where I have plucked my information from astrology, from the tarot channels and the spiritual side of things, and then in March, when the coronavirus hit, kind of from some of the political channels and trying to figure out what's going on in that arena. So I have slowly been connecting the dots, and things become more and more clear to me all the time. And I know there's a lot of people out there that, one, don't have time to do that like I do. I'm not married, I don't have kids, I've got lots of free time. And so at this moment in time, I guess I was in the information gathering stage, and now it's time to start spitting some of that information out in hopes of helping some people that are trying to connect the dots. So I think that's it for today. We'll figure out what I'm going to talk about from now on, and I won't do long videos. I'll try to make them short. And I guess that's it for today. Hope you all have a good one. Bye.